So today we're going to put together a closet organizer because it's all about space with my 12-year-old's bedroom. So we ordered this closet organizer from Home Depot. We did the measurements in the closet to be sure that we could maximize the space. So we're going to take all the parts out and put it together, and I'll walk you through the process. So you want to go through the package contents and be sure that you have all the parts and pieces that you need before you even start the project. And read through each one of the assembly instructions so that you can kind of anticipate what each step entails, and you can kind of plan it out in your head before you even start putting pieces together. This will make you more familiar with each one of the components, make you less likely to grab the wrong contents in your packages for each step in the process, and you'll have a much better outcome, and you won't get frustrated by having to disassemble and reassemble because you've picked the wrong parts. So in this particular assembly, we're going to take the bottom poles, which are bottom poles number C, and you're going to attach the these attachment pieces. They're called installation sleeves. They have a top and a bottom. They actually go around each pole and they fasten together. It's important that you identify where the top is because they go on a certain way. They're beveled so that when the shelf sits on this, it actually creates almost like a wedge system so that the weight of the shelf has the resistance of the wedge. That's what that piece is for. So now I've put these little black wedges on the bottom of the first legs of the shelf. These 4 poles are going to go through this shelving unit, and this will set down on that wedge piece, these black pieces. To know which side is the top, it's the flat side. The bottom of the shelf has the lip, so you want to be sure that you install it the correct way. So these will actually go over the black pieces and then tighten as they wedge down on that beveled black plastic piece. All right, so we're going to do that next. So the next component, now that we have 2 of the shelves installed, they have these little connection pieces, which just have the male piece that goes into the female adapter. So we're just going to screw these extension pieces in, these connectors, and then the middle section has a different label to it, and you'll put the middle section on, and then we'll just keep adding more shelves, and then the top section attaches the very same way. So we're going to do that next. So I'm guessing that one of the most important things to do is to make sure that your top poles go on the top, that your middle poles go in the middle, and that your bottom poles go on the bottom. So they're labeled appropriately. I actually think that the instructions to this particular model is really good. The top ones have an end cap, which is a good way to be able to tell. The other thing that I want to note about this particular setup is that all of the plastic is recyclable, and so is the cardboard. So it's really nice when you get done with your whole thing, you can take all the rest and recycle it, which is important. important for them to see how the shelving goes together. So I decided to put the unit inside the closet before I install the top shelf, simply because the closet ceiling is a little taller. It gives me a little more room for working, but that doesn't mean you have to do that. I'm doing it just because it's a heck of a lot easier for me to access the top of the shelving unit from inside the closet. So now we're going to assemble the very same shelf for the other side. So this particular closet organizer has 2 vertical shelving units, 2 cantilever shelver tops, and then 2 poles for hanging clothes in between. But the instructions for assembly are the very same on both sides. So one thing I just wanted to mention that I didn't say when I created the first shelving unit, on the bottom poles, make sure that this is on the bottom, because you have to remember that you're screwing in those male connector adapters on the top, and if you assemble it upside down, you'll have to take it apart. I just noticed that I didn't say that on the first one. So when you're doing your shelving unit, just make sure when you line up your bottom poles that you have the right end on the top and bottom. The other thing is that the bottom gap is a little larger for where you're going to add your shelves, so that might be a good indicator for you, if that's the type of person that you are, that you might notice that that would be the base, that would be the very bottom, so that all your poles start off, this part goes towards the floor, okay? So this is the second side assembled. We decided to put the shelving units at different various heights initially to see how that's going to go for some of the stuff that we're planning on storing in the closet. We may make adjustments, but we've definitely created variety between the shelving unit on the right and the shelving unit on the left. And we may, it's easy enough to adjust these little black wedge pieces and move the shelf around. So that's what we're going to do. So with this particular shelving unit, it comes with 2 crossbars for hanging clothes, and we've decided to take advantage of both crossbars. So they literally just hang on the shelf, and then you have a screw that goes through, and it attaches on the other side, and then the pole will go in here. So the whole thing fastens on the shelf. You put your screw through the hole. You're going to screw it in place, and it's an adjustable shelf, so I think this particular one goes up to 77 inches, something like that. So there is an adjustment there for flexibility to accommodate for several closets. But and you could just do 1 shelf going across or 1 bar, but we decided to take advantage of 2 so that my daughter can hang more clothes. But it just simply hangs right on the shelf, and then the bar will go across. So I put the rubber connecting piece through the chubby end of the pole for the hanger, and then the other end, the screw piece mechanism just goes right into the hole. Then I'll take the entire thing and attach it onto the unit. So there's your hanging piece for clothes, and I'm going to do the very same thing on the bottom. Yep. I'm pretty happy with how the organizer came out. It's good quality, and it will provide great storage for what we were needing. And that's how you build a closet organizer.